Our ancestors, it seemed, believed in fairies. There were many old traditions concerned with keeping on the right side of the fair folk. Sometimes they told of people who'd seen them. Sometimes they just knew them by the imprints they left, like the presence of a fairy circle, a dark patch of grass on a hillside, or a circle of toadstools known as a fairy ring. It is told how people would make offerings there to keep on their good side, like pouring some beer on the grass or leaving a little milk. We think now that these ways may be the acts of simple and ignorant folk, but their world was perhaps different to ours, as it is full of traffic and noise, TVs and Wi-Fis and all sorts of interference that can stop us from just being present in the peace of the world. There were many different beliefs in these spirits. In Welsh they were called the Tylwyth Teg, in Ireland the Shay, and in Iceland they were the Hulderfolk, and in Britain they were the Faeries. The common person knew that we lived side by side, and lacking the high grandeur of the ceremonial magician, many folk witches would humbly ask their assistance in small acts of magic. Perhaps best known in Ireland was Mab, Queen of the Fairies. In Britain she was known as Morgan le Fay. Common folk may not have used her name so much as called her the Queen of Elfhame. And in Scotland there were tales of men who had accompanied her into Elfland. So we can be sure that many folk believed, and this was at the heart of all common folk witchcraft. The horned god was the Lord of Faerie, and the Queen his consort, and they were found in the land, especially where there grew oak, ash and thorn. If they were lurking by, they were called by many names to turn away any offence that they may be caused. The gentry, the hill folk, the little folk, and the good neighbours. Many cunning folk claimed to have a Faerie Ally that helped them with healing. Many, it was said, had met this ally by a hawthorn tree. The Reverend Robert Kirk called them co-walkers and told how they dwelt within the hills of the land or by rock or tree. In his day it was common knowledge that people could meet and talk to fairies, to walk in and out of their land. Perhaps the worlds were closer together then, or the veils thinner, or the power of belief stronger. Gaining a Faerie Ally then is an important part of Faery Witchcraft. The tools of this craft are sticks and stones and bones, fur and feathers, and things you found. But you must never use iron nor steel, for you'll offend the fairy folk. The best place to work fairy magic is out of doors, on the land, surrounded by the nature spirits and the directions of the elements around you.